Just stop and think. Why are you really stuck at whatever income you're stuck at? Forget the 5K, the number doesn't really matter. You're stuck because you haven't actually stopped to think. If you stopped to think and you thought about the problem, you saw the problem for what it really is and the actual solutions for it that you could do, you would have just done it, right? And then you would have solved the problem. So that's exactly what I'm going to show you, how to find the real problem, how to see it for what it really is, and then see the solutions. So then you can solve it to overcome any roadblocks to whatever income that you're trying to reach for whatever version of financial freedom that you're trying to go towards. But how do I know this actually works to get your income up? Because I very literally used it to make over 103K solo in 2 years in order to quit this job right here. And that is from being a few years ago over 80K in the hole. So if you want to be able to do something like that, then here's strategy number 1. It is to brick up your focus, and then you'll be rock hard. So you'll see what I mean in a moment. It's very literally to list all of the solutions on a piece of paper for whatever particular problem that you think is making you stuck. Then you want to rank all of them. So what do you think is the most effective to solve your problem to the least effective? And then you just want to very literally do it. You get it? You write all your solutions, you write a number beside each of the different solutions, and then you just do them. So you do 1, then you do 2, and then you do 3, and then you do 4, and however many solutions that you have until you actually solve your problem. But you might be thinking, oh, that's so simple. Why would I ever want to do that? And how could it actually help me? Well, typically, the simple things are the things that you actually do, and the simple things are the things that you can actually follow effectively that actually work. So I'm sure you have a ton of excuses, but till you actually do it, and you try it, you can't say it doesn't work. But let me actually get into the different excuses that you do have so I can actually clear it up. You're probably thinking something like, oh, I already know the problem. Well, if you already knew the problem, why didn't you solve it? Like I said, if you were truly clear on the problem, you knew the solutions, you would have already solved it. But you probably have another excuse. You're like, oh, I already do know what I need to do. It is actually clear for me, but I just don't do it because some emotional reasons, some doubts over my mind, which means I don't actually do the work. Like I feel like I'm going to fail something. You have some doubt in there. Well, here's the thing. By very literally putting the thoughts down here on a piece of paper, think about what you're doing. You're making the thoughts something solid that you can look at. Brick up your focus. It makes it even clearer to you, which that clarity alone makes it so whatever doubt or negative thoughts that you had around the problem is minimized. Therefore, once that's cleared up, that emotional problem's cleared up, of course, now it just becomes more of a logical problem. And then you can just go through these solutions that you write down. You can be rock hard towards whatever goal that you're going towards. Once you're rock hard, that is when the action happens, if you know what I'm saying. So you're uncertain because you haven't had clarity in this specific thing. By doing this, you get that clarity. And to go even further on specifically how to do this, what you're doing is you're turning fluid to crystal. And you think about it, if you just left all of these things in your mind and you didn't write it out, you think about solution 1 and you wouldn't be sure. So then you would think about solution 2, but then you wouldn't be sure about that. So then you go back to solution 1 and then you go in this loop of thinking about this solution and that solution and you never take action because you get stuck because you can only really keep one thing in your mind at once. Think about it. You can't like think at 2 things at once. At least I can't. So from putting everything out, you're able to see the totality of the situation. Literally, the thoughts in your mind is what's considered fluid ideas, fluid thinking. So then by writing it down or typing it out, you very literally crystallize it and what I'm calling a brick. You brick up your focus to give you something solid to work on, rock hard to penetrate your goals, okay? But the problem here is you actually have to have solutions in order to create this brick and then focus on it. So if you're in a situation where you're like, I don't know shit, therefore I can't think, therefore I can't make my brick, which means I can't overcome my problem, which I'm stuck on my income, then that is when you need the second strategy, which is to get input. If you are blank, you'll never think of a solution. So essentially, you need to be able to find these rocks. And if these rocks are not already internal, the solutions are not already internal, you need to look externally. So for myself, I very literally, 2 weeks ago, I was trying to make a business decision. So a business related to the YouTube channel that I'm running right now. I didn't know what to do. And I was almost about to completely switch, like get tempted away by shiny objects. But I didn't do that. And the reason I didn't do that and found a real solution to my problem was because I got input. And what I mean by input could be things like videos. Like I went and watched YouTube videos. I went and read books. I didn't really read like whole books during the time, but I looked at snippets of books that might help me, got some information from it, AI, then also talk to other people. My strategy is to talk to the whole range of people to get the whole range of ideas, and then I can figure out what I really want to do myself. So I talked to my dad, I talked to my brother, and I talked to one friend. And at the same time, I also talked to a couple of different similar people. And by similar people, I mean like entrepreneurs and people working on a similar goal. It could also be just anybody going for financial freedom, like someone that has a career that they enjoy, someone that does trading or investment strategy, someone that actually runs a business. And through the act of doing all these things, I did come to a solution, and that's basically by gathering all my rocks so I could do this and form my brick, get rock hard. If you think about your income goal as a road or your financial freedom, and this is the end goal, let's just say 10K per month, and you're over here at like 5K or whatever, it doesn't really matter. To get to this goal, you actually need to overcome this section right here, which is your problem. And on the way, you lay a brick. Eventually, once you've formed enough bricks and you've tried enough solutions, you create sort of this brick path that allows you to go from here and finally get over that problem to your financial freedom goal. So the act of getting inputs gives you more ammo, these rocks over here, in order to form more of these bricks to then finally get you to your goal. So get the bricks to build over your roadblock. Although you may be thinking, oh, I don't really have anyone to find input from. Like, sure, books and videos and whatnot is helpful, but having someone to actually talk about it, get some really high quality feedback from, is way more helpful. And especially the similar people, you don't have that. If you don't have that, you're like a high earning employee, you're a business owner, you're an investor, and you want to find people similar to you, which are very rare, you want to get that high signal feedback, then I actually have something for you, a free community, top link in the description if you're interested. So you can get your brick factory going. But now that you know how to form the bricks and then form multiple to overcome your problem to get to the financial freedom, you might be thinking, I don't actually have time to do these bricks. Like, sure, I might have a good brick I might have to do, but I have my job and it gets in the way, or I get distracted and that takes all my time. So then I can never actually do the work to get that financial freedom. So that's why you need a third strategy. The first step of using your time more effectively is you need to either think or do the work. You need to pick one. Which one do you actually need to do more? Do you need to be able to get the inputs to gather your bricks and then form your bricks? Or is it that you need to literally do the work? Then you can get into actually recovering your time. So what I did for myself to recover time was literally, I worked a job in this job right here. I started work till 2 a.m. almost every single day. I'm not even joking. And there's a countless number of days where I worked. I'm still in the office and I look out the window. You see the sun peeking up at like 5 a.m. You're like, oh, fuck, like, why am I here? Like, what the fuck am I doing? So in that case, on the weekends, I literally slept almost every single Saturday for like 16 hours straight. So I would go to sleep at like whatever time on Friday at like 9 o'clock, and I wouldn't wake up. I don't know what 16 hours, but I wouldn't wake up until like 3 or 4 o'clock. So, and I would do this as a priority. I would do sleep number one, sleep as long as I want. Then I would actually work on the weekends. So I would spend the time on the weekends to work. I wouldn't like goof off and relax. And I'll get into that in a little bit, but that basically means to cut out the trash. And I'm considering trash as distraction. So like scrolling the TikTok, watching the anime, playing the video games. If you truly want to overcome whatever income blockage that you're at, whatever income that you're stuck at, you have to just be focused for a little while. You can add the trash back later if you want. So analyzing what I did for myself, I got the sleep first. So I got the energy first, because think about actually laying brick, right? You need energy to lay brick. If you physically don't have the calories to lay the brick, to cover all of your problem, your roadblock, the pothole in the road, then there's no way that you can possibly ever overcome the solution, right? Without energy, no work is going to be done no matter what. So that is number one. If you only have time to just get your energy back, then get your energy back. And that's going to allow you to just do your job, your actual job better and faster, which will eventually free up some free time in the long term. So then you can dedicate some energy to laying the brick. And secondly, again, I mentioned cutting out the trash. So you can think about your distractions. If you had a roadblock here, right? And you have to lay brick, but every single distraction that you have, you can imagine like you're straight up throwing trash on top of the pothole. Well, now you have to use energy in order to get rid of that trash. Like, very literally, it takes energy to avoid scrolling on TikTok or avoid watching YouTube shorts all day or avoid playing your video games. But if while you're very focused on overcoming your specific income, you just totally cut this stuff out, you don't take any distractions, you just don't have it as an option, therefore it's not on your mind and kind of like pulling you away constantly and popping up and taking brain power away, then at least for me, it becomes a lot easier to just focus on either finding materials to make my bricks or very literally laying the bricks. Now you're able to see your problem clearly so you could get the income that you're looking for and also have the time to do it. But you're probably thinking you need discipline to actually get through and do the work. You need to be in the mental state that is required in order to actually do the work. If you want how to do that and actually do it with minimal discipline so then you don't burn out, then watch this video right here.